Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Classic Comics. Today I'm taking a look at Nightwing 84. This is the first crossover issue with the big Fear State crossover event going through the Bat titles. So we pick up in Bloodhaven with Nightwing, and the first couple of pages are basically him kind of reflecting on, in his own title here, he came into a lot of money, and he's basically decided he's going to donate most of the money to help the city or in some way, instead of just using it all for crime fighting and that sort of thing. And he's thinking about how he's taken responsibility for the city, and it's going to require a greater commitment from him than ever, that sort of thing. Then he gets a message from Oracle telling him to meet him at Park Row in Gotham. And then we get this page where he has a pet dog, and he drops the dog off with his neighbors. And the lady next door across the hall, she's got a couple of kids. And I don't know, this is kind of a weird interaction here. She says, "You brought a puppy within 20 feet of children. Don't worry, I'm sure she'll fare better than the goldfish." And Dick says, "What happened to the goldfish?" And then this kid says, "What it deserved." What? I don't know. Maybe future supervillain right here, Dick. You might want to keep an eye on that kid. I don't know. But anyway, so he hops on his bike and heads to Gotham. So, I mean, it's okay. But again, this seems like this takes 1, 2, 3, 4. So it's basically 4 pages in before the story really even gets going. I mean, it's not bad, but it feels like just kind of wasted space. This could have been done in maybe 2 pages, surely. Anyway, he heads off to Gotham, and of course, Gotham is under the control of the magistrate now, and you see these magistrate drones up in the sky, and the peacekeepers are out enforcing a curfew, and we see them arresting a guy who was trying to go to the store to get some milk, whatever. And he gets to Park Row, which is also the name of Crime Alley, which of course is where Bruce's parents were killed. And Oracle is not there, and then he's ambushed by the peacekeepers, so it looks like this was some kind of a setup. And he's trying to fight his way out of here, but, he's surrounded, and he feels like he's not going to be able to get out of this. The action's pretty good. And this is, I should mention, this is written by Tom Taylor, art by Robbie Rodriguez. And he does a pretty good job with the action here, as I say. But he's surrounded, and he kind of surrenders, trying to figure out to buy some time and figure out what to do. And then, of course, it's Gotham, so Batman shows up. And then together they take on the Peacekeepers. And again, action's pretty well done. Got no complaints. But then the magistrate soldiers, the Peacekeepers pull out, and then they send in some drones to attack. And then Nightwing has a great idea. Let's break into someone's home. Let's break open someone's window and then break into their home and flee through the home. And of course, the drones come in after them and are shooting inside the house. Not the greatest move I understand sometimes desperate situations, but this isn't exactly a good way to endear yourself to the populace, I don't think. So then they take down the drones, and Dick says, if we stay indoors, civilians are going to get hurt. Yeah, you think? Maybe? I don't know. Seems like a good chance. And so they decide to head to the sewer to get out of sight, which makes sense. And then we have a bit of an exchange between them, and basically Batman tells Nightwing about exactly what's been going on with the Scarecrow and the Magistrate and the Insanity Collective and all that, the events that have been happening in the recent Batman issues. Then he heads to the clock tower to see Oracle, And of course he says, well, it looks like, I came to Gotham because I received a message from you. It looks like it was fake though, because I was ambushed. And then she tells him that her whole system's compromised, her communications, her computers and all that. And he says, well, look, just tell me where you need me to go and I'll head there and we'll use shortwave radios to communicate. And then she says, I'm going to come out with you. And she suits up as Batgirl. And that is the end of the issue. So overall, I mean, it's a solid issue. No real big complaints on it. Again, except for just the kind of very decompressed sort of storytelling here at the beginning, which seems like it could have been done in 2 pages instead of 4. But once he gets to Gotham, it moves along at a fairly decent pace. And again, Rodriguez on the art, he's pretty good. He doesn't use a whole lot of detail in his work. Generally, it seems like more, I wouldn't call it minimalist necessarily, but again, not heavy on detail. Lots of scenes where there's little, if any, background to speak of. And the various bits of technology like this vehicle. I mean, look at that vehicle, how simply drawn that is. And then the Peacekeepers and their armor. It's all very simply drawn. Not a lot of detail in it. But he's good with storytelling. I like the action again. It's pretty well done. Some dynamic angles. I think he could maybe switch up the panels a little bit more. He tends to kind of go with this 3 or 4 panel setup on his pages, which, I mean, isn't bad, but he could mix it up a little bit, I think. Let's see, that's a nice shot of Batman here. I do like this splash page here of them fighting together. So, overall, it's a decent issue. It's, as crossover issues go, it ticks the boxes. It brings the character into the big crossover event, check. And of course, these are Batman books, so we get an appearance by Batman, check. He gets brought up to speed on what's going on. There's a character explains the situation to him. You always get that in these crossover issues, check. I would like to have seen the plot of the storyline of the Fear State story advance a little bit more, but that rarely happens in these crossover issues. They're very much this kind of thing. They're side stories. The character comes in and is sort of playing around on the fringes and isn't really directly involved in the main plot. So, I can't really complain too much about that, I guess. I'm not crazy about this page of Batgirl at the end. I mean, it's just, I don't know, it's not great. But no big deal. So overall, I'll give it a thumbs up, minimal thumbs up. So let me know what you thought of this issue. Have you been reading Fear State? Are you liking it? And I will see you all next time. Thanks for watching.